The Badgers win again, undefeated on the season. We may never lose. Let's get into the reaction show.
You are Locked On Badgers, your daily podcast on the Wisconsin Badgers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on, Badger fans? Welcome to Locked On Badgers, your team every single day. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Welcome to the reaction show. I need to make a new title over here. This is not John McNamara joining the show. This is Rajiv joining the show. But we are going to react to the Wisconsin Badgers going 2-0 on the season, beating NIU, putting up 97 points. Thank you for tuning in. I am Ryan Herrings. Thank you for being an everyday and a part of this community. We'll get to all of your comments. If you have them, please leave them in the chat. We got Mike behind the mic kind of sorting those out. Is always an incredible help for us. Rajiv, let's start here. Big picture takeaway.
It's nice to see a Badger team winning. That's really great. I forgot what that was like because, we don't win on the other side of campus. Big picture, man, this team's fun to watch. That's first and foremost. This team is fun to watch. Love the energy at the start of the game. I feel like overall, there are still holes with this team. There's still things that are going to make you pause and are going to wonder how things were going to go during the Big Ten season and into March. But we've got a lot of scores. Nick Boyd is definitely a guy that's a nice addition to the team. Like, there's a lot of pieces in this lineup right now. And when you add 9 new players, 3 new starters, the fact that it looks already pretty seamless is great. Now, there's a lot of things that need to be cleaned up, but there's a lot of talent on this team. My big picture thought is Greg Gard did a really great job of getting this team put together. And it shows, like, we have offensive firepower and we're going to keep growing on the defensive side of the ball and the other issues. But yeah, man, I'm happy. I just think it's really good to see a win. Fun to watch. Happy to get the victory. Happy to see guys playing so well. And listen, buckle up for a long season. This is great. I'm so excited we have something fun to talk about right now.
Feels good, right? And as Brett says, we do have to hit this one.
This is awesome. It's a good day for me. Come on in here, buddy. Get up on that line.
Okay, so like my big picture takeaway here, and I think you said it really well. I might have two because you hit on something that with Greg Gard that I think it's really important, especially given the context of the football team, not to overlook or undervalue what Greg Gard has done and has built, has done it for a couple of years now. He's embraced the portal. This is a team that is going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's got its holes. We're going to talk about it. But here's my big picture takeaway. Rajiv, in that first flash of the game, in those first maybe 8 minutes, you see flashes of what this team ultimately could be when it really clicks consistently. They were moving the ball so incredibly crisply. The passing on this team, the acumen, not just Boyd, not just Blackwell, but Rapp, Bialuskis, Rhodey, my goodness, is he a good passer. They were flinging that ball around and the defense couldn't keep up. They put them in a blender. They were hitting shots and you're just like, this team, that's the ceiling, right? When it's all clicking offensively, and NIU is not very good. But if you do it like that, good teams are going to struggle guarding you. So I think my big picture takeaway is you can see the flashes of what this team can be offensively. And boy, it could be elite this year. And I'm excited for it.
It's fun, man. Yeah, there's so many players to talk about too that really performed well. But yeah, you're right. I mean, this team is going to be good, and it's deep too. Like we'll see how deep it gets as the season goes on. But there's a lot of players that can contribute off the bench, even at the very end of the game when like nobody was really out there that has serious playing time. There are people out there still. I mean, Carrington was still out there. Jones, like there are people. That bench can go deep with contributors, which is another key takeaway.
Let's talk about the bench really quick. I think that's a good one. I'm going to roll down the bench, and I'm going to ask you, is this player going to be playing meaningful minutes for the Badgers in February? You give me a yes or no. Right? Braden Carrington.
Yes.
Yes, I agree. Will Garlock.
Yes.
Bialuskis.
Yes.
Janicki.
Yes.
Hayden Jones.
Probably not.
Yeah, I think I agree there. I don't think Hayden Jones is going to get into that mix. What about Garlock did you see today? So I think there's moments where you see the flashes, and then there's moments where you just realize you wish that with this team right now, you wish that you had almost next year's version of Will Garlock on this team, because there are just polishing moments that he doesn't quite have. And yeah, Patrick Nisa says if Garlock can get the fundamentals down, he's an X factor. I think those fundamentals get down through trial and error. They get down through some iffy fouls. You're going to see that guy next year, I think. You're going to see flashes of it this year, but if you had next year's version of Will Garlock on this year's team, I think it would be massive, dude. Obviously, you don't have that, but I think the upside is enormous, but it's still going to be a process here.
Yeah, and like I think it's okay. He's a developmental guy, and I want Greg Gard to develop him, right? Like I expect his sophomore year to have taken a jump, his junior year, similar to what we've seen with Nolan Winter, taking another jump. He can be that big guy that can play in the low post a little bit. You saw some flashes there. He had a little spin move, drop step. Like he has the ability to do that. He can defend a little bit. He's obviously got size, but he's raw. Like he's fouling every other play. Obviously, he's going to learn that. I'm not bothered by that at all. I like the aggressiveness. Now, if he does that all season, that's a problem. But these are teaching moments for Greg Gard, and that's exactly what Greg Gard has done. That's what Bo Ryan did. They're developing guys. Let's see him develop him. He's got the skills. He's got the size. He's 7 foot, 240 some pounds. Like the guy definitely has the ability to be that 5 of the future that can play defense, that can score down on the block, that can be a nuisance to other teams, that can get rebounds. Like he can be that guy, but he's raw, and I'm okay with that. I like seeing someone with that kind of raw talent that you can now develop. It's fine that he's not coming in here playing great as a freshman. That's okay. He's going to be a critical part. And why is he a critical part? Because we don't have that many big guys on the team. Billy Oscus and Garlock are 6 and 7 as far as big guys off the bench. They're in a 1 and 2 coming off the bench. And then if you have to go beyond that, then you're looking at Robeson. You're not going to get that many minutes out of them. So that's really, he has to play. He has to be important, but he has to grow and develop through this season too. Like he can't come in and have 3 quick fouls in a normal game. But I think that gets cleaned up. I'm happy with what I'm seeing out of him. I'm impressed because there were a lot of people, even yourself included, that wasn't really sure what he was going to look like coming in as a freshman. And I've been pleasantly surprised, honestly. I think he's going to be a player for us.
Yeah, he has the physical skill set that you're looking for. Like it's easy to dream on a kid like that moves that well at that size. He's not a plotter. A lot of players at that size are plotters. He's not a plotter. I think there's a lot of development there that can happen. Let's go to our new segment here. The dude of the week, the dude of the game. Sorry, who is your dude of the game? I think it's kind of obvious to be Nick Boyd, right? 8 of 16, led the team and really was instrumental in that start, getting into the paint consistently. I don't know who else we would even put into consideration for this game, but to me, Nick Boyd is kind of obviously that dude of the game. 3 of 8 from 3. Anybody else that you would even kind of consider for this game?
Well, let me just touch on Nick Boyd really quickly. One of the things that I really appreciate about him is that he takes the offense, puts it on his shoulders at times. And when we were in our bit of a scoring drought, our field goal drought, I should say, we weren't really in a scoring drought. We were getting to the line. He was one of those reasons. He forces the issue, attacks the rim. Now, is he maybe taking too many shots? Maybe. But a couple heat checks there in the first half, I guess you live with it. But he's not afraid to take the ball and go score. And it doesn't have to be in Blackwell's hands. It doesn't have to be in Winter's hands. It can be in Boyd's hands. And that's another guy you can trust in a late game situation, late shot clock, late game, tough scoring drought, any situation. He can put the ball on the floor and do what he needs to do, which I really appreciate about Nick Boyd. And that's going to come in really handy because those scoring droughts, those field goal droughts, they're coming. The Big Ten is a loaded conference. They are going to come. It's going to be an issue. The other guy that I would say, I think Nolan Winter, 7 rebounds tonight. I liked what he did early in the season, It's already still early in the season, but in the exhibition games in the first game, I feel like, people were a little bit down on him just because he wasn't playing as tough down low. But the other things that he can do, the quickness that he has, the sort of fluidity that he runs the floor with, and he can get into tight spots with. I really like what I see out of him. He's going to be a special player. Blackwell, of course, had another good day. But yeah, I mean, this is the Nick Boyd show today. I think that's incredible. I do want to give a shout out to Rhodey. Yeah. I mean, not only is he a good passer, good. Talk about the energy that he brought. He's a glue guy. He's literally the definition of a glue guy. He can do it all. He does all those things that don't always show up on the stat sheet. The great steals, passing, rebounding, just energy plays. I really am happy about him. And he shot today. He shot the ball well. I hope that continues. I mean, this team rounds out really, really nicely when you look at all the different components of the starting 5.
It's so much fun just to talk about a team that rounds out nicely. I'd say I love one of the aspects that Rhodey's really, really good at. By the way, Brett says AB is my dude of the night. I was impressed. Hit a couple early threes. I thought I liked his aggressiveness from the perimeter. Talking about Bialuskas. Rhodey, they did some nice things to him today where they were getting the ball at the top of the key and then running a pick and roll with another big man. When you're involving another big and Rhodey's coming off that pick and roll and he hit, I think it was either Winter or Rapp for an easy layup off of that. He's too good of a passer when you're involving two forwards or a forward and a center and pick and roll action. Rhodey just picks them apart. And I love seeing these nuances and these layers of this offense starting to be unlocked, because when you have multiple high-level passers and multiple high-level shooters, you can really start to single out the weak spots on a team. Like, who's the pigeon? Who's the pigeon that you're going to target? We're going to target that guy, and we're going to put him in pick and roll action, and all of our guys can pass and shoot, so we can be more flexible than you. It makes it hard to defend, man. All right, we're going to take it. Oh, go ahead.
No, please go. Take a break. Yeah.
Yep, we're going to take a quick second for our friends of the show. We're going to come back, though. Bunch more, your comments, the blue-collar hustle player of the game. We got all that coming up next on Locked On Badgers. But first, a quick second for our friends of the show over at DoorDash. Listen, DoorDash is incredible. Who delivered for the Badgers today? Now, we just talked about it. We just talked about Nick Boyd coming out like a flamethrower. Welcome. Maybe this was his welcome to Madison moment. I know it's not the first game, but he just blew up today, getting downhill, hitting threes, pushing the tempo, playing defense. And just like Nick Boyd delivers every game for the Badgers, DoorDash delivers every game for you. DoorDash allows you to win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These are the players, just like Nick Boyd is the player that matters. DoorDash is also going to matter for your weekends. Just like Nick Boyd delivers, DoorDash delivers every Saturday with Saturday Streaks, allowing you to save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only on DoorDash. Terms do apply. Promo period through 11/18. Rajiv, let me ask you this. Oh, Lone, you were about to say something when I interrupted you.
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't even remember what I was going to say now, truthfully.
Okay, perfect.
Let's
move on. I want to shift into this next question. And we had a comment about this earlier, and I kind of stored it away. I was looking at the box score. So you have 16 shots from Boyd. Nobody else on the team had 8 shots. I do think there's a balance here where, and I said it in the Discord earlier in the game, I still don't love some of his contested threes. He historically hasn't been a great three-point shooter. He's been good. But I think there's higher percentage shots to be found in this offense. And he's going to have to find the balance of when he's rolling, keep it going. But hey, you have Blackwell, you have Winter. Blackwell barely got involved in that first half. And it was fine today, of course, because it's NIU. But I think as the point guard, he also has to find that balance of, man, I got a lot of talented scorers and skilled guys on this team. That balance has to be a little more even as we move forward, I think.
Totally agree. I put a comment on the Discord in the first half that said something like, calm down, Steph Boyd, right? I just felt like he was shooting a little bit much. And
then he hit like the next three.
Right. And I understand that like he was hot. I understand the heat check. It's a real thing. It's fine. But yeah, I mean, he taking 8 threes. No one else took over 4 threes. So, I mean, there's a time and a place for it. I appreciate the fact that he helped us get out of the scoring rut by getting to the foul line. And he obviously, with those straight line drives, his ability to go to his left hand, because that's his only hand, but he does it. He scores well with it, and that's good. You got to probe in this system. You just talked about the high-low game that we were playing. You just talked about the bigs that we can pass with. And there's so many options now to score. We don't need to take shots from 6 feet behind the 3-point line. We don't ever need to do that. We just don't. And yes, we were up already by 20 points. It's fine. You can live with it. This is one of those games where I feel like, you're up 20. You're not going to play with the same intensity the rest of the game. You're going to make decisions that you're like, I probably wouldn't make that in a really big game that was a tight game. But he does tend to be a bit of a ball hog at times. And I think that has its good points. But you're right. This is a thing that we're going to have to watch as we get into the tougher games. The Providences, the Floridas, the BYUs, which I'm going to, by the way. That's exciting. With our boy Kevin Brown. So yeah, but look, I'm still here for it. I'm still here for the aggressiveness. I'm still here for the guy that's willing to put the ball in his hands and take a shot. So I appreciate that, and I don't want to diminish that, because that's an important trait that this team's going to need.
Yeah, Mike, can you put up that last comment if you find it, the one from Patrick about, because this dovetails exactly with kind of what Rajiv is saying. The last comment was about from Patrick. I think Boyd needs to shoot maybe a little less, or he needs to be reined in. Here's the thing. Right here. So Patrick says Gard needs to rein in Boyd. He can't be chucking up shots early in the possession this much, needs to get some flow. This is a really tough balance, because for years, Bo Ryan and then Greg Gard, who learned under Bo Ryan, were control coaches. They were controlling possessions. They were controlling shot efficiency. They were very tight on what they were trying to control. And the result was on the floor, right? You were not running a lot. You were getting controlled shots. You were running clock. And now Gard has shifted, and a lot of people love that. This is part of that. You're not going to go rein in your point guard, because as soon as you start doing that, you start to shift away from this free-flowing offense. What I'm saying is, yes, there needs to be a balance. We just talked about it, but it's hard to have both. If you want your players to hunt shots and get effective shots and play free, there is going to be some of this in the offense, for better or worse. Often it's going to be for better. Sometimes you're just going to have to live with this, Rajiv. And like, this is just some of the balance that I think we're going to have to learn to live with.
Yeah, it's something. It's the bad part that comes with the style of offense. Like when during the Bo Ryan days, we used to get upset at how slow we played. Can't we ever speed up? Can we never have a fast break ever? Can all these things that was that kind of thing. And the byproduct of that was, okay, we played slow ball and there were issues that we didn't like. Well, this is the byproduct of this. You're going to get shots that we don't like. And you're right. I don't get to, bent out of shape about it, but it's almost in a Wisconsin's fan nature to not like bad shots, right? Because Bo Ryan trained us not to like bad shots. But yeah, look, he also made a lot of them too. I mean, so he was aggressive, and I don't want that to go away because we're going to need it. Absolutely.
All right, let's do a couple other kind of player shout outs, and then we'll get into your comments. We already got 32 of your comments starred. Again, we very much try to get all the community into these shows. That's the point of it. Rajiv, give me a player. I think we both kind of talked about Andrew Rohde. Normally, on these shows going forward, we're going to do kind of the blue-collar guy of the team, but I think we both talked about Andrew Rohde doing a lot of that blue-collar work. Give me a player you wanted to see more from. Who's the guy you wish you saw more from tonight?
I would say Jack Janicki. And Jack Janicki, actually, I'm going to give him a shout out, first of all, because he did have 3 rebounds and 3 steals, which is great, 1 assist. But I do want him to be a bit more prolific scoring off the bench. Like I didn't like his air ball at the end of the game. I'm like, just kind of summed up his offensive night. He was 1 of 7 from the field, 0-4 from 3. And I'm like, you're the 6th man off the bench. Like, other than the Bieliosk is probably the official 6th man, but you're the first guard that comes off the bench. And I really like Braden Carrington, by the way. I think he should play more, but I want to see more from Janicki. I kind of expected a bit more of a jump. That jump can still be here this year, and that's fine. And I want that, but we're going to need him to provide a little more offensively. The hustle plays are great. He does a lot of that. Don't want to take anything away from him. Appreciate everything he does out there, but I did expect him to be a bit more prolific offensively.
I think it's well said. I think for me, it's Blackwell. Like, I just don't want any games where Blackwell takes less than 10 shots. I don't know. Like, they didn't need it this game. I like that he's in control. I like that he doesn't ever really take bad shots, but there were a couple plays. There was one in transition where he had kind of a one-on-one, maybe a one-on-one and a half, and he chose to pass it back to one of the trailing bigs instead of just finishing. I think he's so good, man. I want him taking 8 out of 10 times being the leading shot taker on a game. And I thought he passed on some opportunities early.
I think you could put a little bit of that blame on to Nick Boyd, though. I mean, Nick Boyd probably took some of his shots away from him. And by the time we're up 20 points. At that point, Blackwell's like, all right, like I don't need to push as hard. I think Blackwell's a pretty heady player. I think he understands when he needs to push and when he doesn't really need to push. And with other guys doing the scoring, he's like, all right, I can back off a little bit. Nick's hot, let him shoot. Bielioskis is shooting. Like, I think I trust him to make those decisions and to play, to be selfish when he needs to be selfish, I think
that's well said. And I don't fully disagree with that. I'm definitely not bent out of shape with this Blackwell performance today. He felt like he kind of took a back seat to let some other people cook. But I still want more than 8 shots from John Blackwell. I just want more from my offense. And I think occasionally in moments, because all of this, every rep matters. Like, everything you do in life matters. That's not even a basketball thing. Like, everything you do in life matters. I would like the ball to inherently find itself in my best shooter's hands in positions to score more often. And this is an offense with a lot of people that can eat, but John Blackwell needs to take the lion's share of that. And I think the offense should inherently be geared towards that. And maybe that's what I wanted to see more of today. But yeah. I'm also not that bent out of shape about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it's a closer game, I don't think he takes 8 shots. I think he takes 13 or 14, but it wasn't a close game. He was 0 of 3 from 3. He's probably like, okay, I don't have it today. Let's help the other guys out. So if he does that in a close game, it takes 8 shots, then we're going to have it. Then it's a different issue.
Anything from a team perspective? So obviously the big start, we talked about players. Next segment's going to be all your comments. We'll talk about referees a little bit. Anything about the team, what you've seen 2 games, maybe moves the needle, I don't want to say dramatically, but moves the needle up or down on what you thought this team could be?
Yeah, so I would say that a positive thing that's moving the needle for me is Bielioskis. Bielioskis, I feel like, is really interesting. He obviously is a really good shooter. He's just kind of it's not like he plays super aggressive all the time, but I feel like he's going to be one of these guys that's off the bench we could have some serious scoring from him. Like he had, how many points did he have today? I lost it. He had 8 points today, and he shot 2 of 3 from 3.
Yeah.
He absolutely can have a 20-point game if he gets hot. And I think that the bench scoring you had talked about on another show, I think the bench scoring was a bit of an early season concern because we've got 5 good scorers. But if Billy Oskus, Carrington can be one of these, be some of these guys that can provide that scoring and that lift off the bench, I like that. And I was a little bit concerned early with Billy Oskus in the exhibition. I'm like, I didn't really see much from him. Is he really going to be a player? I think he's going to have a good amount of minutes, and he can really provide some lift off the bench. But ultimately, it's the overall depth, and we really can still score, and we're going to score a lot of points. We're going to be hot a lot this season, and that's just going to it's going to put us in a lot of games.
Yeah, I think that's a really good call out on AB. He looks better than from when he committed to where he's at now. I think his stock has definitely gone up. Being able to hit shots in rhythm. And I'll tell you this too. I'll tell you this as well. I thought defensively and on the glass, he looked pretty good. You know, he seals off pretty well. He moved his feet pretty well. I think he had 4 rebounds tonight. He feels like a pretty well-rounded young big man that can also shoot threes. Those are valuable, man. Again, let's go back to Greg Gard. Finding talent, finding pieces that fit into the system. Like, complete hats off to Greg Gard. And we're not even making this about any other program because there's a lot of basketball programs not named the Badgers that struggle with this. Like, Greg Gard has been really good at this, and he looks like another fit. I think that's a great one. If I would shift it in a different direction, because I think offensively we look great. I mean, we scored 97, and JB was just kind of like chilling on the couch for some of this game. It felt like this team can score. Defensively, too many straight line drives again, too much penetration. Too many NIU guards or forwards getting into the paint. And by the way, we're going to talk about fouls in a second, but part of those fouls are because we're getting beat off the dribble. Bigs are coming over and helping. You have to kind of help. Then when you help, you crowd people, you foul people. It's still a concern, man. And 2 games in, I don't necessarily feel better about it.
Honestly, and I may be in the minority here, but I do feel a little bit better about it tonight.
Okay.
I really feel like there was a from the Campbell game to this game, there was an increase in defensive effort, which is the one thing that you can control. You can control the defensive effort. These guys are not great defenders. We know that. We've always known that. But can they put in a really good effort? I think Rapp, for example, a guy that we both talked about as someone that I'm like, ooh, his defensive positioning, I don't know. Even he was making like hustle defensive good plays near the end of the game, right? Staying up, blocking the shots, protecting the rim a little bit. And I think guys like Carrington, I think Boyd can be a nice perimeter defender. I agree. We're not as good as we need to be. But if I see effort on the defensive side, Nolan Winter had a few defensive plays. It is NIU, but NIU scored 100 points in their first game. Okay, now they were playing a crappy team, but still, I do think we got a little bit better and the effort was there. All I want to see on the defensive side of the floor is effort and rebounding, which we also had tonight. I'll take that. We're not going to be a great defensive team, but we don't need to be great. We just need to put in the effort. And I like what I saw out of tonight. And I feel like Greg Gard is going to make slow, short incremental steps defensively throughout the season. And that's all we're going to need to balance out this offense.
Yeah, I mean, certainly effort matters. There's an age-old saying, don't misinterpret effort for effectiveness. You can run around with your hair on fire. It maybe doesn't mean you're doing what you need to do. Mm-hmm. Northern Illinois did shoot 47% today and got to the line 31 times. Now, I think some of that is just the refs called a ridiculously tight game. But they got to the line a lot, and they shot a pretty high percentage. So while I'm not discounting the effort aspect of it, effort doesn't matter if you're not staying in front of people. But there's a long ways to go. And certainly I'm not going to discount that either. All right, we're going to take a quick second here. Then it is your comments next on Locked On Badgers. Really do appreciate everybody tuning in. As always, today's episode brought to you by incredible friends over at SupplyHouse. If you need a big project to be built, if you're in charge of a team that's building a big project, whether it's HVAC, electrical, plumbing, whatever that is, SupplyHouse is the absolute best place to get all the parts you need. Over 280,000 parts, which is about how many fouls were called in tonight's game. And you get those delivered on your doorstep tomorrow. So you're not going to waste time. You're not going to waste energy. You can get right into the project that you and your team need to build. Right now, SupplyHouse, fast parts. They got a part finder 3D schematic. So you don't have to search through old manuals, blowing the dust off them to try to figure out what goes into where. They got you a 3D part finder. Their Trademaster perks, priority shipping, dedicated phone line support, absolutely incredible. Join the free TradeMaster program today. Score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, dedicated support line. Visit SupplyHouse.com to sign up for free. Use promo code SHCollege5 for 5% of your first order. That's SupplyHouse.com. Real people, real service. All right, Rajiv, you ready for the question round here?
Let's do it.
Honestly, we should maybe do this segment too next time. This is one of my favorite parts of doing this. So again, we're going to go your starred comments. We'll go a little quicker through these to make sure we hit them all. Rajiv, your first one from Connor Neighbor. How about these refs?
52 personal fouls were called in this game.
Oh,
52 fouls were called in this game. Just let the guys play. Like, I understand you got to control it. I ref when I was in college for like intramural and stuff. I understand you got to keep control of the game. I totally get that. But come on now, like, you touch a guy, they're calling a foul. There's no flow. Basketball games need flow. I was waiting for, I felt like 20 minutes to go to the bathroom before the under 8 timeout. And I'm like, is this ever going to happen? Stop with that. Keep control of the game, especially early. But as the game progresses, you got to let them play.
Thank you. R-Dub says, pretty uninspired showing. His team is pretty blah. Poor shooting, undisciplined on D. A couple of them look like they were just playing for the NBA scouts. So listen, first of all, I appreciate the perspective. Thanks for jumping on the show. This show is all about different perspectives. I would disagree on a few of these. You know, the team scored 97, led for 99.3% of the game, of the total game clock, something like that. I thought they were fine. This is not a great team. And I do think the referees took a lot of momentum and rhythm out of this game, which made it feel disjointed. Poor shooting a little bit, yes. But that's what happens with the 3-point shooting team. You're not going to hit them all. Undisciplined on D, I talked about that a little bit, but I don't think they look like they're playing just for NBA scouts. If that was the case, John Blackwell doesn't take 8 shots. Like, he's the poster child of needing to play for NBA scouts. He took 8, which to me tells me he's locked into the team, the concept, what they're trying to do offensively. He's not just trying to go out there and show a random New York Knicks scout on a Friday night that he can jack up 17 shots and score 30. So I would push back a little bit here, but I can see where you're coming from for sure. Rajiv, how about Isaac Gard, Big Ten Player of the Year? How cool is that? We're both dads, just low-key. How cool is that?
Listen, I love that he hit that 3, then he gets a rebound on the next play, makes a couple of free throws. Good for him, man. Like, it's nice to see. I love like the Greg Gard's reaction. He's like, all right, like he just, Isaac got a 3. He's been on the team for so long. And you know what I like is it's not just because he's the coach's kid. I listened to a lot of interviews with the players and the preseason build up. They all talk so highly of him. They speak so highly of him. He's apparently a hilarious guy who jokes around a lot. Good for Isaac Gard, man. Go get it.
I'll give you one of these as well. So a couple more comments about just them not playing very well. So from Patrick, yeah, they didn't play well at all. Lots of fouls bailed them out on crappy possessions. Boyd isn't running an offense. I kind of get my thoughts on this. Thoughts on maybe this team not playing as well as maybe we thought it did.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree, Patrick. I think that again, you're playing Northern Illinois and you got up early. You're not going to see the best performance when you're up 20 an entire game and 25. And like, you're just going to see effort dip a little bit. Yes, there were a lot of fouls that bailed them out of crappy possessions. No doubt about it. But I also think that they would have gotten shots off in some of those possessions. There were early fouls called that we don't know what would have developed after the foul was called. There were a couple times late in the first half that happened. I think Boyd is fine. He's being aggressive. Greg, this is a very, very early in the season. We've got an 11 game non-conference slate to clean a lot of this stuff up. If we're seeing some of these things 11 games from now, fine. But for now, I'm happy that we're being aggressive. I'm happy we're making shots and we're getting better.
And again, just really quick to your point, on a day where maybe they didn't shoot great, there was foul disjointness. They still scored 97. Like, this is still a pretty effective offensive performance. I'll take this one here. Brett, good friend of the show, says, pretty nice that no one played more than 26 minutes. Much better shot distribution. I love the first part of this because I think it is so important that you, can not grind your starters into a pulp. John Blackwell, Nolan Winter, you got to keep those guys fresh for what is coming up in the Big Ten, because you're not going to be playing NIU type teams in the Big Ten, and you're going to need Blackwell for 37 minutes. So I like that apart. But what it also does is it allows you to develop depth. It allows you to get Garlock and just leave them in there. 4 fouls, stay in there and play. Learn from it. I think that's a really big aspect of this, and they're able to get those young guys a lot of minutes. So I agree with you. I like that a lot. Let's get to the next one here. Does Not a Whale says, I hope Garlock turns into an angry stud. Are you a proponent of your big men have to play angry and dunk everything?
No, not necessarily, but I do want to see some toughness down low, especially when he catches that ball in the post, he does that little spin move and he lays it up. I'm very much a proponent of dunking on that play. Like, yeah, you just got to play aggressive. You got to play tough. You got to go up strong. That's all I want. Whether it's dunking or not, it's fine. Just play strong and go up with ferocity. That's what I want.
Good comment here from Dylan. 97 points on 29% from three. It's kind of exactly what we're saying. Like you scored 97, and I think the ceiling, again, just focusing on the offensive side of this, you scored 97, and I think the ceiling is still, from an efficiency standpoint, higher than that because you shot 29% from three. It kind of underscores how good this offense can be. Good comment here from Hooger, Rajiv. I like how fluid our transfers look in this system.
Absolutely.
Sorry, there's more there, but I think that's like the money part right there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, it goes back to Greg Gard being able to find talent that fits the system. And it really does. Like, I give a lot of credit to Greg Gard, just hearing some of what the guy said before the season and how the culture feels really strong. And obviously you got a guy like Brad Davison back, but ultimately they're individual little chess pieces, right, that fit into this collectively. We've talked about the passing from Rhodey and Rapp and these guys that are new to the team, passing from Boyd, ability to score. You think about last year, what were some of the issues were, not defensively. Those issues aren't really solved, but it fits really well and it becomes fluid. Remember, there are 2 returning starters and 3 pretty much returning like anyone on this team that played any kind of minutes. So yeah, that's a lot to replace. And you've scored 96 and 97 points your first 2 games. Something's working.
That's well said. I'll take this one, Salgani. But Yaluskis at the 5, Winter at the 4 is a nice combo. I don't like Winter at the 5. So I'll say this. I like the idea. I like the thought process behind this, right? Where maybe we're switching some pieces around. I do think Winter's probably nominally a better 4. I think his skill sets is suited better there. So maybe you're putting one of your best players in his best position. So even if you're losing a little bit by putting Bialuskis at the 5, I think you gain by putting Winter at the 4. So I like the idea behind it, but I don't think Bialuskis is any more rugged or able to deal with bigs down there than Winter is. He's still young. He's not the biggest guy. Winter has a bigger wingspan, blocked a couple shots today. You also saw him deter a shot at the rim by just going straight up. So I do think Bialuskis, while I like the thought process you have here, I don't think he's well suited to switch to the 5. Rajiv, I'll ask you this. I actually kind of like at some point, and maybe it doesn't happen, I don't hate Garlock coming in at the 5 and bumping Winter to the 4, especially
100%. 100% agree with that. I think it will happen. I mean, I think that if Rapp gets in early foul trouble, leaves the game, if Garlock were to come in there, yeah, I think naturally you would put Garlock at the 5 because he just is a more of a natural fit at that position to defend the low post. So that's fine with me. It gives Nolan Winter a bit more freedom out there. I'm good with that. And I think Gard will experiment with those 4 bigs and kind of who plays 4, who plays 5, or maybe we'll see 3 of them out there at once. Who knows?
I like it. Badgerman, Rajiv, what does this tell you about the future of this program? Assuming we keep the young guys, we will be good for years, unlike the other sport in town. Always going to be some football takes in here.
Yeah, no, I really like it. I mean, I think the fact that Austin Rapp has got a lot of years of eligibility left is really exciting. I mean, we're seeing some really good stuff from him early on. Hayden Jones is going to be around a while. Like, yeah, I think it's great. It obviously shows that roster construction, which is a phrase we've talked a lot about with the other side team, like not doing very well. This is proper roster construction. This is exactly what we have been saying about Greg Gard for years. Adapt, build a good roster, have a good system and a culture. He's doing that. So yeah, I think that the basketball team is not going anywhere anytime soon, right? Because I trust what Greg Gard's doing to build this roster, develop the young guys, and keep bringing transfers in as you need them, but develop these freshmen, and we're going to be bringing in more. I'm very, very happy with the future of this program.
Yeah, it just feels like he has a great feel for the portal. Like some people just have the feel. They just have the ability to find the right fits, whether that's in sports or in organizations, right?
Yeah, and it's about like doing it with what you have, right? So we know that Luke Fickell doesn't have enough money out there. Now there's talking about injecting more money and blah, blah, blah. We're not going to get into all that. But the consensus is you just need to throw more money at the situation. But whatever Gard has, he's working within those boundaries. And I appreciate that because he's saying, all right, this is what I have. What can I get? How can I build my system? Like he's making it work with what he's given. He's not just begging for more, saying he can't compete, which I really appreciate about him.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. Robert Swordson, man, who's a great dude to himself. Like RS is a great dude. I love him. Also says, thanks for the hard work, Mike. Again, Mike is behind the scenes doing all this. Great person. So definitely say thank you to Mike behind the mic, helping us keep all this organized.
Can I also just say that this JT picture that's right behind me, which is autographed, which is incredible. As you all know, I'm a Colts fan. Go JT, best running back in all of the land. Mike gave me that. Fantastic guy. Legend. Thank you, man.
He's a super good dude, man. Super good human being, which again, quick side note, and then we're going to get a couple more of your comments. Really appreciate everybody in here. We got 191 of you, and more people are going to watch later. That is humbling. Thank you. Don't ever think for a second that I don't think about how cool this is to be part of this community. And
we talk about it a lot. Ryan and I talk about it a lot. It's really great. It's
amazing. And you get to meet people like Mike because of that. And people in the chat. I mean, Brett's another one right here. Big to big passing was on tonight. Yeah, I want to hit on this for a second. I have been kind of blown away by the big to big passing in this offense. That's not a gimme. Most bigs can't pass at that level, in fact. Now, some of that is scheme. Some of that is the spacing that this offense creates. It creates better passing lanes, which makes it easier to throw those passes. But we saw Garlock tonight with a really nifty post pass to a cutter near the rim. That's impressive for a 7-foot freshman. First game, I went and did a cut up of Austin Rapp. Some of the passing that he had was really impressive. Today, you saw Bialuskas do that. It's just when your bigs can pass like that and they can shoot like that, it pushes your guards into spots where they can be secondary creators. And you just, again, create issues for the defense that isn't used to it. So I think it's a great comment, Brett. I think you're dead on. This team can really, really pass the ball.
And remember what Michigan did last year with Wolf and Golden, right? Like that, how they were able to run that. They were able to, I mean, that's the kind of stuff we can do.
I prefer not to remember. Rajiv, Autumn Supply Company. By the end of the year, is Austin Rapp the best player on this team?
No, he's not, but he's a great player. He might be the best player in a couple of years. But no, I don't think he's the best player of the team. I think that belongs to Blackwell, and then Winter is, 1A.
Yeah, I would agree with that. A-Bug, need to calm the defense down a bit speed-wise and turn up the defensive intensity. I love this question because, this is something we asked. We had a chance to talk to Coach Gard in media days, and this is kind of something I tried to ask him about a little bit. I'm telling you, it's so difficult to find that balance. That's why Bo Ryan, Hall of Fame coach, one of the greatest coaches ever, incredible coach. That's why he played the way he did. It's really hard to find the balance of let's push the tempo offensively, but let's also be great defensively. It's just a really difficult thing to do. And I think you're going to probably have some variation of this complaint the entire year. It's really tough to do both. I will say this, funny little story. When I asked Greg Gard about it at media day, I was like, hey, how are we going to play this fast offense, but play defense? And he looked at me, he's like, defense matters, Ryan. Like something to that variation. I just felt like an idiot, but it's going to be a hard thing to do. Rajiv, you were there.
Yeah. I mean, you're right though. This is one of those things, right? It's a balance, and we'll figure out the best way.
I'm trying to see if there's any other kind of big picture things in here we missed. There's a bunch of comments. We don't ever get to all of them. But ZK Badgers, you guys are getting me excited for the rest of the season on Wisconsin.
Dude, but listen, ZK, we got to believe in something. And we both cover basketball and football on our shows. So this is one of those things that we have to believe. Yeah, man, it's about having something to root for. And Greg Gard, kudos to him, man. He's built this. This is what we're talking about this 3 years after people were calling for his job. It's pretty good stuff.
414 says, what do you think about Wisconsin not always getting the best basketball recruits in Wisconsin? I think this is a great question. And, we just saw, we saw over the last couple of years, a lot of those guys leave the state. This is a really talented in-state group that's coming up. But I would say this, and I've said this kind of consistently, if you have a guy who you trust to put it together, let's say if you have a great baker, right? And he's getting ingredients from all these spots. You don't really know. Why aren't you getting him closer? But he keeps putting out great cakes, and it's just phenomenal stuff. Eventually, just trust the guy to cook. And Greg Gard is just kind of cooking. So would I like for Wisconsin to land some more of those elite in-state talents? I think so. I think it would help, especially with the athletic profile that some of those kids in-state have. But look at the product on the field. And I would just shift over to football. I know there's a big complaint about Luke Fickell not landing the in-state kids. It's not really about landing the in-state kids. It's about the product on the field. Because if the product on the field was better, nobody would care. I shouldn't say that. Most people wouldn't care. So look at the product on the court. Greg Gard is doing, I would say, more with less to some degree. So maybe we don't need to stress so much about where he finds his ingredients because he's cooking.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I'm one of those people that wants it in football, but you're right. It's because it's not working. So therefore let's start here. Let's start locally and then build out.
We'll wrap it there. Rajiv, any last thoughts basketball, or even football tomorrow. And Robert, you should not trust me to cook. That is if you've been on lockdown for a while, you know some of the stories.
Yeah, look, I'm just excited about this, right? Like, this is just a fun time to watch sports, Wisconsin sports, because we have something other than football. I know the hockey's doing well too. Like, it's good. We're going to have a lot of fun watching this team, and I'm really hoping it leads to something really good in March.
Well said. My last thoughts is I'm kind of excited about the Washington game tomorrow. I know that's probably going to come back and bite me. I know a lot of you people are going to tell me I'm crazy. You're going to listen to the show, and you're going to say, of course, Ryan's kind of excited. I kind of am. Yeah, I have a bye week. New quarterback. I feel like there could be some juice there. I'm also just full of wanting to believe. I know this is based on really nothing, but I'm excited for it. And yes, Robert, this team always misses Steven Crowell. Every single game, they will always miss Steven Crowell. On Wisconsin, Mike, thank you so much. Jim Thompson on Wisconsin. Let's go, brother. Rajiv, another show tomorrow, right? Talking about a Washington win.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We will definitely talk to all of you.
Win. You said Washington win.
Oh, a win against Washington.
Okay, all right.
But what I probably said, my brain probably corrected.
You're right.
Yeah. On Wisconsin, we'll talk to you later.